We are now live on HCTV's YouTube channel. Thank you so much for bearing with us. Again, our normal switcher, its power supply went out on us last night, and we didn't figure, it wasn't confirmed until today, so we were trying to scramble and get a backup situation rolling. Where we remain at is a 0-0 game just near the end of the first quarter. We'll have a full file recording available after this game, probably by Monday at the latest, so please again bear with us as we're trying to get through this here. It's been a little bit of a chaotic start to this one, but so far pretty even game. Minnesota did burn a timeout.
Raffle tickets will be sold in the stands at the end of each quarter and also at the merchandise booth in the concession stand.
So we get another timeout. But thanks for joining us, everybody, on YouTube. I just want to confirm, too, the feed is working okay.
We will announce the winner in the fourth quarter, and you must be present to win.
So, again, both teams coming into this one at a 1-3 record.
Stick around.
Both teams coming in here at a 1-3 record. Minnesota's coming off a really weird victory, a disqualification because Cincinnati could not fill a full roster, unfortunately. So they were awarded the DQ win. On the other side of things, the Detroit Prowl, they coming in also with a 1-3 record, taking down the Kalamazoo Bears, which unfortunately have another important talking point is they have unfortunately decided to leave the league, and that was Minnesota's next opponent. So unfortunately, next week's road test will be canceled for that squad. But again, kind of tough situation to be in, but the Minnesota Minx are looking to plan a scrimmage against the Nebraska Pride, who unfortunately had some issues trying to field a team this year. So it'll be fun having them come out. Where the site is to be determined because Spring Lake Park and a couple of other fields are taken up. So stay tuned for more information on the Minnesota Minx website. Again, both squads kind of sitting near the bottom of their respective conferences. Paul just had all these graphics prepped, but still working through some troubleshooting some issues here. So please bear with us as trying to get our score bug up and working as well. But both teams kind of near the bottom two spots of the conference with that 1-3 record. Columbus Mystic at the top of the conference with a 4-0 record. Minnesota Minx are led by longtime Minnesota Vixen head coach Moose Rylander. So out of the gun, are the Prowl on the attack. 2:32 to go here in quarter number 1. So short run play. Again, just bear with us as we're working to get our score bug back up as well. Still a 0-0 game near the end of the first quarter here. Bad snap. He's going to just have to get on it and cover. And I believe it should have been down by contact. Obviously, new year, new league for the Minnesota Minx. That's kind of been the big story. So a loss of 14 on the play. So here's a big opportunity here for the Minx on third down. Another low snap, looking to pass, has time. Has a receiver on the flat. Good defense by number 21. By Hurd. So huge play there defensively. So as time will expire here. So with that, that is the end of the first quarter. We're going to send it to a quick break. You might see some black momentarily for our edit file, so no worries. If you see it black for a couple of minutes, we will be back after a brief break. You're watching Minnesota Minx football here on HCTV. So welcome back into Spring Lake Park High School as we get set for another quarter of play. Again, we remain scoreless here in the first. So both teams coming back onto the field again. I apologize, folks. Once I get some of these technical difficulties a little bit more under control, I'll be able to give you a little bit more of the lay of the land here. So ball up in the air, it's loose. Look, they're excuse me, that was a punt. Didn't go very far. So set up Minnesota with the 1st and 10 at the 29-yard line. So the Minx with another possession here. Hahn is sacked right away by number 52, Bobby Goodwin.
Run play for Minnesota, number 15, Detroit number 2, Bobby Goodwin. Loss of 7 on the play. It is 2nd and 17 at the 22-yard line. Loss of 3 on the play. It will be 3rd and 20 at the 19-yard line.
Yeah, I can go back away.
So after the short run sets up a 3rd down and long. Otterson takes it with the direct snap, takes it across the 20, gets a good gain but pushed out of bounds, gets back to the original line of scrimmage, but will set up a punt.
Run play for Minnesota's number 42, J.C. Otterson. Tackled by Detroit's number 3, Chris Harper. Gain of 7 on the play, 4th and 13 at the 26-yard line.
So that'll set up a 4th and long. So set up a punting situation here. So 12:22 to go here in the first quarter, still scoreless. Punt is sent sky high, not very far. It'll trickle out past the 43-yard line and set up the Prowl with good field position.
The punt from Peter Hopkins bounces out of bounds at the 43-yard line. It will be 1st and 10 for Detroit at the 43. I'd like to acknowledge another sponsor, Summit Architectural Sheet Metal, a black-level sponsor supporting the recruitment.
So we'll see the Prowl back on offense. Significantly fast-moving game compared to some of the other games we've seen. So already in the second quarter here. 12:09 to go. Both teams historically struggling on offense a little bit, but good to see them. Should be a close defensive matchup today. Both teams strong defenses. Just again, when your offense can't get much going, the scoreboard can balloon a lot, be a little bit more misleading. A lot of the Minnesota Minx games, and for Detroit for that matter, have been very high scoring in favor of the other teams this season. But again, when your offense is kind of not rolling and not getting off or not staying on the field for very long. It gasses your defense, and those scores are just inevitable. Bend but don't break defenses only work for so long, and that's going to be the main story for today's game is how long will we keep holding the scoreline. Pitch back, Minx got a hand on it, and that's a recovery. Minnesota with a huge recovery. Lost the hand on it, but so an excellent play by Minnesota. So Minx with another opportunity here. Otterson will be under center. Can apologize if we're having some flickering issues. Just, again, our makeshift setup's been a little difficult today as the pass out in the flat. Great play design. Intended target was Bree Lowry, I believe. Good play design. So set up a 2nd and 10. And then just a reminder too, at halftime we're going to try to reset some things, get a scoreboard on the screen for you all. We'll make this work the best that we can. So looking to pass. Apologize, we're still working through some issues here. So back, kind of the bunch formation, having Otterson at quarterback, very interesting decision. Now back to pass, gets a throwaway, and it will be incomplete. So again, loving getting Otterson involved in some of these plays. Otterson with handoff, take it past the 40-yard line for a good play. Again, Otterson has been a huge bright spot for this Minnesota Minx squad. He's usually a defensive leader, but she has been a huge asset on defense, but now proving her skill set on the offensive side of the ball as well. So we're going to get another timeout here. We'll talk it over as Minnesota is starting to drive down the field. Again, last home game of the season, well, last official home game of the season for the Minnesota Minx. Looking to have that impromptu scrimmage against the Nebraska Pride to get them some work as well. There's a good look at the Detroit Prowl on your screen coming back out onto the field. Looking to get a defensive stop here. Again, want to thank Ian and Max for helping me out today on the cameras. Again, normally we use our TriCaster setup, so we can do up to a few different cameras, replay and all that. But again, unexpected power issues has led us kind of scrambling today. So again, we appreciate your patience. So after the turnover, it will be Detroit football. Handoff up the gut, big carry. Gain of 4 or 5 on the play. That was by number 23, Durina Pinkett, the running back, number 23 on the carry. So good way to start things on the ground. So here we go out of the gun, second down. About 5 to go. Handoff, Pinkett once again looking to get the edge and busted through with the big stop. It's a great defensive play by the Minx for a big loss. Again, today is going to be a battle of field position. Natalie Breakmeyer in on the tackle. This will be a 3rd and 12 as you get a good look at the Minnesota Minx defense. So big 3rd down here, about 3-4 yards back from the original line of scrimmage. We'll call it 3rd and about 12. Big opportunity here. Again, both teams struggling in the punting game, so field position is going to be really important. Both teams looking, unfortunately, to be out of the playoff race, but still really important game. So handoff, number 19, and runs into a wall and nowhere to go. Carried by Paisley Friley. But that is another nice defensive stop from Minnesota and should set up another punting situation. Again, both teams looking pretty stout defensively. Just again, offense has got to get going. So 4th and 11, officially a gain of 1. So looking to get the punt away. pretty good one. That's going to trickle all the way down near the 10-yard line. Hurd's going to have to take it out. And a nice tackle by so set up the Minx with some tough field position, and bear with us if you're running with us on YouTube. Again, we will upload the game nearly in full afterward. We had to switch to a hotspot because our initial computer was on the school network, and there's a pretty hefty firewall we're trying to get by with our hotspot. So please bear with us as we navigate through this one. Actually, we're going to get a penalty, so they're going to have to re-kick. That one is a lot shorter, as it'll barely get past the 45-yard line. So I'll give the Minnesota Minx a lot better field position. So again, if you're just joining us, Minnesota Minx, Detroit Prowl tied at 0-0. Here in the second quarter with 7:44 to go. Otterson under center. Player in motion, handoff. Looking to get it outside, and does. Gets it for a good gain and more. First down. And there's the first really big chunk play we've seen from both teams in this game. So that was number 92. That was number 92 on the carry. That was Des O'Connell. So here we go, handoff, another big chunk play, kicks it back. And another good chunk play from Minnesota. So another big chunk play, so Minnesota Minx driving as Otterson tries to get away and does complete it, but in heavy traffic. So another nice, didn't catch the number on the reception. I believe it was caught by Des O'Connell once again. So out of the gun is Otterson. As this will set up a third down. Again, bear with us. We're trying to troubleshoot some issues here. So gain of 3. So actually, no, it'll be third down now. I apologize. Come on, get this now. Come on. So big gain here, and here they go. O'Connell takes it near the first down. As we have an injury timeout down on the field. So again, I apologize for having some feed issues. As they continue to get checked out down on the field, we hope everything is okay. And we're working on some of the streaming issues. Apologize for having some camera feed issues. So bear with us. Again, we're trying our best here. So handoff near the end zone. And just about a yard or two short of the goal line. Again, trying to switch. Trying to change some stuff here on the back end to help make our stream not buffer. So that's a Minx first down.
It is first and goal at the 1.
So big opportunity here for Minnesota to get on the scoreboard. As we're going to get a timeout from the Prowl.
Detroit. It's their second timeout of the first half. I'd like to acknowledge another one of our sponsors, brokers, the last level sponsor this season. Minnesota's largest insurance broker. And access to coverage for more than 50 insurance companies. For your auto, home, business, life, and health.
Again, thanks for choosing to join us today, everybody. So big opportunity here for Minnesota. On the goal line. Low snap, and Otterson lucky just to keep a hand on that one on a big first down play.
One play for Minnesota number 42, J.C. Otterson, tackled by Detroit's number 38, Brittany Revis on the line. Loss of 3 on the play.
Believe we have the stream issues
Second and goal at the 5.
under control here for the moment. Again, thank you all for your patience on this one as you get a good look at the Minnesota Minx huddle and the Detroit Prowl. One thing I have noticed about the WFA is what I was saying all the time, AWFL, both, a lot of squads do the black and white, black and blue. Very common color scheme, so very clean look, but
We have reached the 2-minute warning.
as we hit the 2-minute warning. So just to recap today's game, if you're just joining us, tied here near the end of the second, a very back and forth defensive battle, and that's been the tale of two tapes for both of these squads as you get a look at the Minnesota Minx on your screen. Both teams have really been struggling to score all year long, and finally the Minx have put together a sustained drive on the back of Des O'Connell. Des O'Connell's really been a key piece on this drive. A couple of big chunk plays got them down near the 1-yard line. It's been interesting too, all season they have not used J.C. Otterson a ton on offense, at least at home, but getting her involved on this side of the ball has freed up some opportunities. So see both teams breaking the huddle. So the Detroit Prowl are on the move. So Otterson under center, looking to take the snap. O'Connell with it. Can she get the edge? And no, she cannot. And a huge tackle by, I believe, Paisley Fraley. Fraley, excuse me. So good defensive play. Set up a 3rd and goal at the 9. Again, a big opportunity here for Minnesota. 3rd down. Otterson looking to pass. Has a receiver on the flat and dropped. Dropped by Bree Renaka. And sets up a 4th down. Interesting scenario if they bring out the kicking unit or if they will remain on the field with their offense trying to get one in the end zone here. Looks like they're bringing out Hopkins to kick this thing. Maybe not. Hopkins kind of stepping back and away from the huddle. So we'll see what they decide to do here on 4th down. Just get a good look at both squads on your screen. I believe we finally have our score bug back up and working, so thanks for your patience on that front, as they are going to kick it for 3 here. Snap is down, kick is blocked. So unfortunately, For Minnesota, the decision to kick it here is proving to be a costly one as we will remain scoreless. About 38 seconds left to go in the period. So we'll see what the Prowl decide to do. With 38 seconds left to go. I'm not imagining they will do anything too crazy here in the final few minutes, or final few seconds, I should say. So, big opportunity here to try and get some points here. Kind of working out of that bunch formation. Two backs in the backfield, one out in motion. Dropping back to passes. The Prowl has a receiver out in the flat. That was Riley again, but a nice tackle by the Minx, and they should just be letting this one trickle down. Riley couldn't do anything with the play, but we are going to get one more timeout here.
Timeout Detroit.
By Detroit.
This is their third timeout of the first half.
So their final timeout of the half. Again, so far, again, a very back and forth game. Both teams struggling offensively. Finally, when Minnesota's crunching on the door, the Detroit Prowl stand proud and prevent a score, force the field goal, and are able to get a massive, massive stop.
He strives to make an offense open and accepting baseball. Loves working with athletes to help keep them at peak performance.
Both teams talk things over.
15-minute consultation. Dr. Hernandez, back in shape for practice. So responsive to Minx this season.
So 16.3 seconds to go here on second down.
Nothing deep.
Take it away.
So looking things over here. Let's get a good look at both squads on your screen. Well, thank you, Zach and Max Logan for coming with and helping run the cameras and helping deal with the fire that has been the start of this broadcast, but we should be in a good spot the rest of the way. So dropping back to pass on the flat. Again read like a buck. This time it's Anthena Hurden on the tackle, and with no timeouts left to go, that is how the end of this first half will go. A defensive battle has been the story of this game. A good one back and forth between these two squads. A few turnovers, blocked field goal, a lot of that and more. So with that, we're going to take a quick break for halftime. Don't go anywhere. You're watching Minnesota Minx football here on HCTV Sports. We're going to get a couple of things reset, so bear with us if the speed trickles out, but we'll be back out of halftime. back into Spring Lake Park High School here for the site of the Minnesota Minx taking on the Detroit Prowl. I'm Hunter Pinky, the sports director, announcer, switcher, everything like that. Again, thank you all so much for bearing with us as we navigate through this challenge here of getting on a broadcast. But things are finally settled down as keeper Hopkins is set to kick it away. Minnesota, if you're just joining us, was on the doorsteps of finally getting into the end zone, but a tough defensive stand from the Prowl put the end to those hopes mighty quickly. As we're set to kick out the second half here. As keeper Hopkins will get it away. Nice booming kick. That might trickle all the way into the end zone. And that will for a touchback. So talk about some special teams fun right there. As good look at the football in the end zone. First touchback we've probably seen in a while. So a nice kick from keeper Hopkins. Again, keeper Hopkins, another name on this Minnesota Minx roster that we call a lot. They've tried to utilize keeper on offense a little bit, special teams, a little defense, doing the kicking duties. So big, valuable piece on the squad. Again, if you like our coverage, don't forget to check out our other Minnesota Minx games of years past. Again, not the normal setup we have going today, but again, we're going to kind of take a look and see if we can maybe add that scrimmage depending on the venue and location. I think it'd be a fun event to cover as the Detroit Prowl back on the field. Next timeout or stoppage, we'll also once again take a look at the conference standings. I think unfortunately both these squads will be out of playoff contention. I talked about a little bit pre-game before we had some issues. Minnesota's one win came from a disqualification from Cincinnati, who couldn't field the team. So they were given a win in that scenario, and unfortunately because of that, Cincinnati will have to miss the playoffs as run up the middle for about a yard or two on the play. So quarterback draw, keeper is quarterback number 3, Chris Harper. Again, now that we're finally in the groove, don't forget to let us know where you're watching from, who you're rooting for. Happy to do shout outs as we can. Again, like to make our broadcast a little more interactive, especially for AWFL football, especially having folks watching from all around the country. Again, we were unfortunately unable to be here last week because of that disqualification, but the Minnesota Minx hosted a fantastic scrimmage against the Midwest Mountain Lions. And again, to make up for the Kalamazoo team unfortunately leaving the league, as little jet sweep, nowhere to go, and the Minx crunched in the backfield. I believe that was number 21, Hurd, in on the tackle. She makes a strong play. The captain for the Minnesota Minx. Actually, no, they're going to give it to Natalie Breakmeyer. So it'll be 3rd and 14 at the 21, but unfortunately, the Kalamazoo Bears have also left the league, so Minnesota Minx have been left without an opponent for next weekend. So they're going to be hosting another scrimmage, this time at home. Going to bring the Nebraska Pride, who had trouble fielding a team this year, but they're going to try and field the squad and get some reps in so they can rebuild, recharge for the AWFL season next year. Again, very familiar with the Nebraska Pride, as well as they were the Division II champions in WFA before moving over here, which a lot of fun. It's fun to see some of the squads moving over as we got a flag on the play. I'm guessing it'll be a false start. False start or defensive encroachment, one of the two. So we wait the call from our officials. Again, 0-0 game here in the third, 13 minutes to go. It's going to be a false start, so that'll move them back 5.
False start on the play. It's a 5-yard penalty for a replay third down.
So we're gonna look in. We're still trying to find a site for that Nebraska scrimmage. So we'll update on our social media alongside the Minnesota Minx's social media as well. Good look at the quarterback on your screen. That's Chris Harper. A couple of backs in the backfield out of that bunch formation, out of the gun. Trying to draw him offside. Making some adjustments at the line of scrimmage. Bad snap once again. Second time we've seen that today. Able to get a hand on it. Just going to take it out of bounds and avoid a big hit. Smart decision there by the Detroit Prowl as she throws her helmet in frustration. And that is not what you like to see, as this will force another Detroit punt. So this will set up another Detroit punt. Again, we've seen a few short punts today from both squads, so equally important they get this one away. It's looking like, I believe, number 58 or 52, Goodwin, on the punting duties. As that's going to go sky high, trickle out right around the 15-yard line, and that's going to set up the Minnesota Minx with excellent field position. So looking to get back to form, as we saw a drive ago, or at the end of that second half, they were threatening. Again, that's been the tale for both these squads. Offensive struggles. Let's get a good look at the Minnesota Minx bench, led by a plethora of coaching staff, very famous. Head coach for the Minnesota Minx is Jody Moose Rylander, famous Minnesota Vixen player. And again, that defense has grown exponentially ever since she's taken over the coaching duties. She was also my broadcast partner a couple of times. So fun to be working with Moose once again in a different capacity. So Madison Hahn back onto the field, the quarterback for most of the season, and has Otterson out there. So going to get, creative play call. Look at that trickery. Back to Otterson. She's got space down at the 5-yard line. Talk about some chicanery. They had Otterson take the snap, had Madison Hahn out to her left. The short little shuffle to Hahn, who throws it out to Otterson in the flat for a good gain. And that's kind of the thing we've been lacking, as you get a good look of Otterson with that big captain's patch on the left side of your screen. Hahn back out there with the play. That's the thing this Minnesota Minx offense has kind of been lacking all year. It's just a spark. We've seen flashes of it, but the consistency is important, but slowly coming more and more in this game as it progresses. So it's a great thing to see as the Minnesota Minx are on the doorstep. So why don't we take a look at the conference here. Here's the Great Lakes Division, the northeast side of things in the AWFL. Columbus Mystics sitting at the top, 4-0 record. Cedar Raptors at 3-1 again. Cedar Raptors, Midwest Mountain Lions, the Sizzle, Iowa Phoenix, Detroit Prowl, Minnesota Minx, and the Kalamazoo Bears. Again, they have unfortunately left the league, and Cincinnati having a prime season. Just unfortunately, that disqualification is going to make them ineligible for the postseason. But a strong Great Lakes division as we flash down the graphic. And again, Midwest Mountain Lions, Cedar Raptors, Iowa Phoenix, all familiar teams to the Minnesota Minx. So it's, while you're getting some fresh blood with the Detroit Prowl, never even played them before. You still had some familiar opponents, the Cedar Raptors, who have really grown into a powerhouse in the AWFL, overtaking the Iowa Phoenix in record, which is somewhat surprising. Iowa Phoenix, a well-established team. We saw a barn burner of a game between the Phoenix and the Minx a season ago. As Otterson's back under center. Looking to hand off up the middle, has some space, but a good tackle in the backfield. Number 52, Bobby Goodwin, was in pursuit. Gain of a few, that was number 35, Rachel Mudek, on the carry. Say hi to It's Your Girl 710, cheering for Jamie, rooting for the Detroit Prowl. Again, thanks for joining us, everybody, and being patient as we get to our backup plan for today. A gorgeous afternoon here for football. 80 degrees, light breeze. Better than that heat wave we had yesterday, where it was pushing the 90-degree temperatures. As handoff back to Mudek, can't get any separation, and this drive in danger of stalling out. And if you were just joining us too, at the end of that third quarter, second quarter, the Minnesota Minx opted to kick a field goal, and unfortunately was blocked. A little low screamer, couldn't get it through the uprights. So this is a 4th and 3. Looks, I see keeper Hopkins back out there. Gonna attempt another one, and again, any score here could really mean a difference. It's a battle of field position. Both defenses extremely tough. So we'll see what keeper Hopkins can do on the field goal attempt. She has the leg for it. Could be a crucial 3 points here. Hahn will hold. Snap is down, kick is up, and the scoreless streak is broken. Keeper Hopkins gets the Minnesota Minx on the scoreboard first with a field goal. Minnesota leads 3-0 over the Detroit Prowl. And again, talk about a huge momentum swing for both teams, or for the Minnesota Minx. Now, if you're Detroit, you really have to find some momentum. You need a long, sustained drive. Good look at the sideline for Minnesota. All the coaching staff down there. You see how, I think that's Kenzie Riley, who just walked behind the tent, the offensive coordinator. Shayna Reed in the tank top out there, the assistant head coach and special teams. Has to be extremely happy getting that on the scoreboard. So again, we're scoreless streak finally broken on the first offensive possession for Minnesota. Prowl looking to respond. Keeper Hopkins, another pretty good kick down to the 24. Kind of in no man's land. They got to get on it or it'll be Minnesota Minx football. And I think Detroit was able to get on it. And it is covered by Paisley Fraley. Also listed as a quarterback, but it's been kind of a wide receiver, running back hybrid today. Small bench, too, for Detroit, so not a lot of substitution options, which also limits your toolkit a little bit. But we'll see what they can get going here. And Detroit in the black helmets, black pants with the blue trim and blue numbering. Look, pretty sharp looking uniform. It kind of takes me back to the classic Reebok era of uniform, the good Reebok side of things. Kind of like that old, not quite, but kind of one of the good Reeboks jerseys of the Atlanta Falcons. And I would put that in that class, very sharp. Minnesota Minx in the all blacks with the flag on the patch. White numbering now, another bad snap, and Harper's gonna have to cover it. We saw her at the end of that last drive. Threw her helmet in frustration. Again, these snaps gotta get under control.
The snap from Detroit is blocked. Ball recovered by number 3, Chris Harper.
So Chris Harper able to get on it, but it's again gonna set up a second and 23. Gonna give a shout out to the PA announcer to my right, Mike Peden. He's been the voice of the Minnesota Vixen PA for the past few seasons. So had Jason Hetland fill in for game number 1, voice of the Simley Spartans. So Minnesota has been very fortunate with a couple of the best PA announcers in the game. Even pulled out a little Nicholas Lehman to start the game with a long Minnesota hold. I should have timed it to see if he could beat his record, but he didn't. If you know the St. Paul Saints, hands off to Fraley. Looking to get the edge, and she does. Big chunk play for the Detroit Prowl. As, we got some laundry on the field. In that spot, you're kind of worried of a holding as the officials. And it's officially a holding on Detroit, so that'll push them half the distance. And again, they finally got some momentum going their way. And it pushes them back. And that's something we saw with the Minnesota Minx too against the Cedar Raptors. Just gonna get the offense moving. And self-inflicted penalties, things like that begin to add up. So these two teams are very, very similar in structure. That's why I kind of had this one circled and starred on the score sheet, knowing it would be a tight one. And glad to see that's come to fruition. So ball will be at about the 5-yard line for the Prowl. Opting to stay on the ground. Bad snap here would probably lead to a safety. We've seen multiple bad snaps today. So Minnesota Minx looking for their second win on the season first, not via the disqualification. Fortunately, don't want to repeat it too much, but as a broadcaster, it is important to tell the story. Again, Minnesota looking very sharp today defensively. And honestly, a lot of bright spots on the offense too. As Harper at the line, making some adjustments, this time under center, motioning Paisley, number 19. Little quarterback draw, finds some space, maybe a yard. Oh, pushed back. Got free and kind of kicked to the outside. As again, that Minnesota Minx stout defensive line in the face of Harper immediately, so sets up a 3rd down. Tackled by a host of Minnesota players that you see on your screen. As Detroit, again, having some trouble getting the offense rolling. So officially a gain of 1 due to forward progress. So it'll be 3rd and about a mile. We'll see if they opt to pass. So here we go, big 3rd down. Obviously, a lot of time in the game. Obviously, a lot of time to work with as we're at the 5-minute mark, or 5.5 minutes to go here in the 3rd quarter. Some time to get the offense going, but you can't wait too long, especially if you give Minnesota prime field position again. Keeper Hopkins getting us on the board first. Looking to pass, has a receiver over the middle, and that's, oh my Lord! An excellent pass, but just boom came the hit stick. Bomber Karshbaum. Oh my Lord, put down the hit stick. Karshbaum put down the Thunder. Again, an excellent throw. Found a good target over the middle, but an even better hit. And forces the Minnesota Prowl to punt as you get a look at Karshbaum on your screen. Karshbaum, another name pretty commonly called on these Minx broadcasts. So again, gonna lead to another punting scenario. Again, haven't seen a lot of good punts from the Detroit Prowl today. We saw one excellent punt all the way down at the 10-yard line, but I believe that was called back due to penalty, as this one should be pretty good. Low screamer, and that's going to kick all the way back to the 40. 45-yard line, that's picked up. Has a lot of space to the left. This is Hurd. Hurd finding an edge down to the 25 and pushed out at the 20. So this time finally gets a good punt away, but just a lot of open space on the left side of the field for Anthena Hurd. As Hurd with a big return on special teams, is getting a little hug from Kenzie Riley, the OC. Lots of support on the bench. See, I believe that's Diamonds Miller too, as a former Minnesota Minx player, as support staff down on the field. So we'll see Minnesota Minx come back out there. Again, like I said, the other thing to consider, Detroit does not have a very big bench, as they were talking about it to our right. In the next booth over is just giving a little bit more leniency on that play clock. As we're going to get a timeout here.
This is an official's timeout. Repeat,
this is an official's timeout. I believe this would be the equivalent of a high school water break timeout, which is smart. When temps are in the 80s, Detroit has a smaller bench. Give some flexibility here in that scenario. But again, so far things looking on the upswing for the Minx. A lot of other games in action today. See if I can get you some other score updates as well. Get some great elevator music in-house. As Minx back on the field, kind of working out that bunch set. Otterson at quarterback, number 42. Gonna hand off to Mudek. Mudek finds some space and gets it past the 15-yard line for a good run. Mudek with a nice carry. So sets up a second down and about 5. So handoff again. Mudek, here came the hit stick, this time from the Prowl. Detroit on the prowl with that one is number 52, Bobby Goodwin, in on the tackle. Another nice play there from Detroit. And again, Detroit's defense has been very, very stout. Again, it's just been a battle of field position. Defense is not something they really need to improve on too much, as you get a good look at Goodwin once again on your screen. Just have to figure out some of these offensive troubles as we get a score update. The Connecticut Ambush take down the DMV Queens tackle football team 41-0. New York Knockout take down the Ontario MIFA All-Stars as handoff finds some space, as again number 15 is tackled by Goodwin. Number 15 for, that's Renaka. Again, Goodwin, one of those names we've been calling a lot, also doing the punting duties. So another big matchup today too. The Midwest Mountain Lions are taking on the Iowa Phoenix. See if I can get you a score for that one. In the first quarter, the Midwest Mountain Lions lead the Iowa Phoenix 7-0 in the first quarter. So 4th down, they're gonna go for a long field goal here. Keeper Hopkins back out there. Madison Hahn to hold. Kick is up and doesn't have the distance and just short. Just short, as there was some contact there. At the end, no laundry on the field, but a couple of players down on the turf. So no roughing the kicker called. But again, that's a good field goal to take. Try to get some extra points. See what your kicker's range is in a game situation. The accuracy was there, just unfortunately a little bit short. So Minnesota Minx defense coming back onto the field, as well as the Detroit Prowl. And again, remember, a lot of these players are having to play both sides of the ball for Detroit, which is never an easy task, no matter how you put it. Not everyone can be Travis Hunter. And even Travis Hunter I believe he's getting moved to a singular position as well. Halftime, Georgia Vipers leading the Carolina Tigers 19-0. So I also want to give a shout out to the AWFL. Thanks for being so welcoming to all the new squads joining us with the move over, including Minnesota, Cedar Raptors. Everyone is good snap as Minnesota Minx collapse immediately. So we believe that was number 48 on the tackle for Minnesota. That was Catherine Maher. So Maher in on the play to get a good look at the offense for the Prowl, and we're going to get a timeout here. So Detroit will take a timeout. First timeout, and a well-needed one. As you see them talking over. Again, look at the crowd in attendance. Pretty good crowd today. Got some Minx jerseys. Good look on the field as you get a look back at the Minnesota Minx back out there on defense. So after that incompletion, Harper will head to the bench. And the punting unit back onto the field. Again, I like that idea of taking that shot right there, but just sailed it a little too far, and seen it a couple times, emotion starting to get to the signal caller. But hopefully can settle down and leave an offensive drive. As Goodwin back to punt. Sky high, and that's kind of been a mix of what we've been getting as a punting unit, as this will set up the Minx again with excellent field position. And you know, there's something to be said. The Minx lead 3-0 here in this scenario, but Minnesota's really got to start capitalizing on these short field positions. You know, having been with the Minnesota Minx, mine is the very first season where they played 2 games. I believe this is season 4 with us, helping cover Minnesota. They've really come a long way, but the offense has still got to get there a little bit. Again, we're seeing a lot of flashes here today, finding these key pieces, getting it moving, but we gotta get some scores, gotta get them into the end zone. They haven't scored above 7 in a single game this season. This time an interesting formation too. They're gonna send Hahn out at wide receiver. Otterson at QB. This time handoff number 6, and oh, there came the hit from number 97. Octavia Griswold in on the tackle. On the carry was Amanda Harju. So again, the big D tackle getting it done defensively.
3-yard loss. Second and 13 from the 30.
Again, all things considered, this defense, you have to praise this Prowl defense as well. They have not let Minnesota do much. Again, they've had a few possessions where they've gotten some big chunk plays, but they've still kind of come at a premium, only on a select couple of drives. So back out of that bunch formation, out of the gun is Otterson. Look at the pass. Throwing it deep for Hahn, and that's picked off. First interception of the day, as that's going to be the end of the third quarter. But that pick by Shea Slough is a huge momentum builder for the Prowl. And a pretty good looking ball, a good spiral from Otterson, but just fortunately right into the hands of the defender. So with that, we're going to send it to a quick break. We'll be back momentarily. You're watching Minnesota Minx football here on HCTV Sports. Welcome back into Spring Lake Park High School as we got to flip to the other side of the field after a big interception from the Detroit Prowl. Prowling an interception away from the Minx. Good look at that Prowl squad flipping sides. And that was number 85, Shea Slough. Apologize if I'm butchering that one. You can always let me know in the comments. I hold no shame to a little criticism. But again, so far, tight-knit game, only a 3-point ball game coming off a Keeper Hopkins field goal near the beginning of that third quarter. Again, defense has been incredible. On both sides of the ball, and again, I've said it a multitude of times, but especially too for the Prowl being only here with a limited bench. Being able to keep Minnesota only 3 points does say a lot with your smaller squad. So back out of the gun. Is the Prowl. looking back to pass is Harper. Rolling out, throwing deep, and kind of falls in the no man's land. Had a defender in her face. Fortunately could not get that one to their intended target. Set up a second down.
Let's go, defense! Come on, defense! Let's go, D!
So upcoming schedule, obviously this is the last regular season game for the Minx, or I should say official regular season game for the Minx, as the Kalamazoo Bears are no longer in the league, unfortunately. So this will be the end of the season. However, they will be playing a scrimmage with the Nebraska Pride next week. More information to come on the Minx social media, and we'll share it on HCTV as well. And for Detroit, they have another date with the Columbus Mystic, who they had a tough time with in the season opener, losing 44-0. And they're also the top team in the conference. So we'll see what they can do there. Obviously, back at home, we'll have, as that one falls short of the intended target freely and sets up another third down. But obviously, too, when you're back at home, you can carry a few more players. They have a relatively sizable roster. As you get a good look at Detroit on your screen, have a relatively sizable roster. So should get a lot of names back, running a little less gassed. For the final home series. Gonna be fun to see Nebraska back in action.
Come on, defense! Get him! Get him!
So high snap once again, handoff. Freely gets around, gets to the edge, gets a good chunk play in, pushed out of bounds. Will be short
The ball carrier, number 19,
of
Paisley Freely.
the first down. And we'll see what they opt to do after a gain of 3 or 4, maybe more. A little off angle here from the line.
Gain of 2 on the play.
Only a gain of 2
4th
from
and 8 from the
PA
17-yard
announcer, so
line.
shorter
We
gain,
will
just a
announce
lot of
our
backtracking
winning
on that
raffle
play.
ticket shortly.
And this will force another punt. Again, we've seen a couple of good moves from Goodwin, but they've got to get more of these line drive screamers. Can't get some of the high moon ball like we've seen. As bad snap, but gets an okay punt away for a poor snap. Takes a good bounce as Anthena Hurd lazily jogs over, but will opt for the Detroit Prowl to get a hand on it. Look at Hurd on your screen. Hurd, one of the leadership for this squad. Like I said, both teams playing very well defensively. If you're Minnesota, we need to see a long, sustained drive here. Also, since this may be our last broadcast for Minnesota Minx football this year, we might see if we were able to cover that scrimmage. It kind of depends on location, internet, stuff like that. We're going to see how that all shapes out, but this is our last game. I want to thank Claire Romy and the board for having us back out here and covering women's football. So first down here, Otterson with one back in the backfield. Has Hahn out at wide receiver. Otterson with the pass just a little too far. The intended target.
Number 42, J.C. Otterson, is incomplete. The intended receiver, number 8, Amanda
The
Hartman.
intended target
Second down and 10 at the 36.
was number 8. Harju, as they break the huddle again. Interesting experiment, too, to have Otterson at QB. second down. Otterson has a receiver in just off the hands, but a good-looking ball. That was number 92, Des O'Connell, the intended target. Again, I'm liking what Otterson has to offer too. Didn't miss much on that ball. Good-looking ball just off the hands. Otterson looks pretty natural throwing that football.
Let's go, Minx!
Can't say you see many quarterbacks with the number 42. But if you're wearing the number 42, you got to be able to sling it. I mean, the most famous 42 ever, Jackie Robinson, is a baseball player, but he could throw the football or throw a baseball, so you got to be able to kind of throw. That goes off the hands of Madison Fawn. Out in the flat. Again, I like that they're experimenting, trying to get different players in different positions, try different things just to get your offense working. You know, Hahn not getting the main quarterback reps today, had a nice completion on a little trick play, but having her out in wide receiver does say a lot about Hahn's skill set as a player. Obviously, she's a vet as well. Has been with the team since near the beginning, I believe the beginning. Not sure, can't recall if she was there for the first season, but it's been here 3-4 years at the minimum. As keeper Hopkins back out there to punt. But it says a lot about her being able to move into a wide receiver role. You know, just try things, getting this offense sparking as kind of the rolling boot, and that's a fantastic punt. That was an excellent punt, takes an unfortunate bounce against the Minnesota Minx, but I love that punt. You know, as Pat McAfee says, punters are people too. And
First and 10 for Detroit.
Hopkins saying, hello, punters are people too with that one. Obviously, it's field goal on the day. 1 for 3 on field goals. Had the first one blocked, made the second, and then the third one just fell short, but good accuracy on that kick. So we'll see what the Prowl can do here. Still one-score game, 3-0 in favor of Minnesota. Looking to get back in the victory column, move to 2-3 on the season. Final record will fall to a record of 3-3 on the season. Obviously in scrimmage next weekend. And also, what was also very beneficial, I was talking with Board President Claire before the game a little bit, getting some of the down low too, is Minnesota did also play a scrimmage against the Midwest Mountain Lions a week ago. Good practice reps for both teams. And she specifically told us she didn't want us for the game because they're working on some new things offensively. And it's kind of come to fruition today as trying to get the edge, and boom goes the dynamite as number 65 in on the tackle, Mallory Breakmeyer, with the
tackle for loss.
Tackle for loss.
Minnesota's number 65, Mallory
Again, both teams playing outstanding defense today. Is a good look at Breakmeyer. Wearing the Guardian cap as well. See some players rocking the Guardian cap, some not. It's up to you. Again, having the option, never a bad thing. Always be pro safety. Everyone made such a big deal of, oh, the game of football is getting weaker because you got to wear that funny looking hat. But honestly, anything to up the game of safety of the game of football is a win in my book, and it's optional, right? If you like the natural helmet look, that's totally okay. Because I will admit, in the NFL, with the little covering for the Guardian cap did look a little goofy at first. As a Green Bay Packer fan, obviously both Minnesota and Detroit fans will probably not like me saying that, but Romeo Dobbs having the Guardian cap was very iconic after a nasty concussion in Seattle a couple seasons ago. You know, it makes people think about safety, and anything to keep players safer in the game and playing the game is a win in my book. High snap, Harper's gonna have to get rid of this quick offer back foot, and just a little bit short of the intended target. That was number 15, Urbani listed as a running back on the roster. And again, that was a good-looking football, good-looking spiral just to get that throw away. With a defender in her face, high snap, did not have time. That was not too bad of a ball, just got to get a little bit more on it. Harper can sling it, it's just hasn't always had a ton of time. And again, both these teams, again, very similar. Both teams would benefit from the passing game, as we're going to get a timeout.
Timeout, Detroit.
So this will be an official Detroit timeout. But again, thanks for, if we're unable to do the scrimmage, thanks for joining us for another season of AWFL, or first season on AWFL football, but our 4th season of Minnesota Minx football. Gorgeous day here from Spring Lake Park High School. Again, thanks for joining us here, and we apologize for the tech issues to start the game. Like I said, our switcher power supply went out, and we confirmed that at about an hour before the game. So we got a backup switch, solution switch, but then we got blocked by the firewall trying to get everything going, and then we got on a hotspot, which was having issues to start. But things have finally settled down in the world of TV. Or broadcasting, you always adjust on the fly, and making it work for all you fans. Again, thank you for tuning in again for another season of Minnesota Minx football, and the first season of AWFL football, and that's nearly picked off by Karshbaum. So again, these high snaps have been absolutely brutal for Harper, as you get a good look at Karshbaum, who made a nice play on that. Well, we also saw her lay down the hit stick on a near completion over the slant over in the middle, back in the 3rd.
You want to take him down, you take him down.
Also, last call for merchandise at the merchandise booth. This is the last call for merchandise.
So, again,
if you want it,
sets up another 4th down here, probably another punt with 11:33 to go here in the 4th quarter. Again, they play by college rules for the AWFL if you're new. Obviously, that was kind of the new challenge with the Minx moving over into a new league, learning the new league, the new teams, the new rules. Obviously, the biggest new rule was the extra points. Another high snap, good one looking to get away. That's a low streamer on the ground. One lineman out there to kind of force Hurd to the outside. Will take it down to about the 19-yard line. So again, Minnesota with excellent field position. Settle just about the 21, not the 19, I can't count. So at the 21-yard line, just a yard outside of the red zone. Again, Minnesota has to get something going here. Like I said, being up 3-0 counts, but you really need to get something going on offense as you get a good look at Hurd on your screen and the Minx bench.
Hastings Community Television. Minnesota Minx volunteers, the Detroit Prowl for making the trip here. Our fans and our Minx friends and family.
But again, a lot more signs of life here on offense today trying different things with Otterson at quarterback, different backs in the backfield, getting stuff rolling. Just working on figuring out what you have, and that also takes a lot of time as Otterson with the keeper still going. Near a first down and more. Can she get in, and is tackled down at the 5. Again, Otterson, again, one of the bigger names here on this roster, doing it herself, taking it down to the 5. And those are the chunk plays you really got to start getting more of, as unfortunately there's an injured Prowl player down on the field. We'll see if we can get a number for you, as you can see a shot on the screen. Again, we'll also try to upload as much of the game as we can as possible after the fact. It's going to take a few days, probably Monday or Tuesday. I'll target it to get it edited and uploaded. Just with all the tech issues, we got to track down some files, but we'll have the game nearly in its entirety uploaded to our YouTube channel. Again, most of the scoring coming in the second half of action. Saw a few turnovers, defensive stops in the first.
Post-game party at Route 47 Pub and Grub. First 40 people get a
So again, they continue to look on down at the Prowl player. Again, can't see the number yet. We will try to get a number as soon as we can. But again, want to thank Ian Andersack and Max Locum for coming along with me today. Ian has been along with all of our Minx games the past couple of years. I believe he's only missed, Ian, have you missed one or none? Ian has only missed one Minx game since we started doing this, so shout out to Ian for coming along. Max has been along for most of them as well. I think Max has only missed probably 2 or 3.
That sounds about right.
So, again, it's always fun for us to, as we believe that's number 23, Darina Pinkett, up on her own power, which is always good to see, but never like to see an injury too, especially this late in the season.
What a good helper.
So another offensive chance here for the Minx. First down at the 5-yard line, looking for a chance to get their first double-digit point total on the season. Otterson at QB. A couple of backs in the backfield. 2 receivers out in the field. One top, one bottom of your screen. Hopkins, one of them. Again, see Hopkins everywhere. One of those gadget players. This low snap. Otterson will keep it herself, as is not able to get much. Otterson does kind of ring a little bit of Derrick Henry vibes, big bruising back,
No gain on the play.
but does have some speed, as Madison Hahn on your screen can, as Madison Hahn checks in. Again, thanks for everybody tuning in. I am Victoria Rose, Aunt Robe, Let's Go 71. Daniel Hagan, Rockstar Forever. Sabrina Weatherspoon, It's Your Girl 710. Amy Robinson, too. Amy, I believe, same Amy Robinson I'm thinking of. I recall you being on the Minx roster for a few years. Still showing support for the old squad, which we love to see. So back out of the gun, 2 backs in the backfield. Otterson at quarterback keeper. Again, running the same play twice, but bulldozing through. Can she get in? Still going. And it's going to be close. I think she's going to be a yard short, as we have another Prowl down on the side, or kind of in the center of your screen.
3rd and goal at the 1.
As the trainers will both come out. I want to thank the training staff too. Usually the training staff on both squads are in action. See if we can get a number for you as well, but kind of the things you don't like to see in these late season contests.
Yep, that's the one. No, in one of them. 40. Anywhere between 40 and 50.
Well, let's kind of talk about the rule changes. The extra point rule, one of the more interesting rule changes, just having the option to go for it. I believe at the 1 is 1 point, at the 3 is 2, and then, no, at the 5 is 2, and then 10 plus is a 3-point extra point play. Haven't seen the team go for a 3-point extra play yet this year, but one of those interesting rules. You always appreciate it because you never know what you're going to have for a kicking situation. Not every team has a player like Keeper Hopkins that can consistently make some of those shorter field goals or extra points. Obviously, haven't seen number 6, Kelly Bernadine, listed as the kicker for the Prowl. Haven't seen them anywhere on the field today, so I believe that's why 52 Bobby Goodwin's been doing the punting duties. So 3-0 lead for the Minx here with 9:07 to go. An injury timeout on the field. Taking a gander on any other AWFL scores. Minnesota Vixen also in action tonight. Obviously different leagues now, but they work strongly together. Both Minnesota teams having a scrimmage, the Minx versus the Vixen, over the winter at one of the dome locations. As it's number 47 who was down, Jasmine Thomas is able to get up with some assistance. Again, just a reminder, on June 6th, the Minnesota Minx are going to host a end-of-season scrimmage against the Nebraska Pride. If you're looking to attend one more event, location TBD. Just want to make sure that's out there. So obviously with not having a Kalamazoo game next week, shortens the Minx season to 4 games on the docket. But looking for their first touchdown, quarterback dive. Did she get in? It's a long one. Hopkins signals yes. Still waiting that call. Might be short. There's some discussion from the referees. You can kind of see in the left side of your shot. Boy, was it close. I think they're going to call him short. Obviously not a kicking down here. You got to go for this touchdown. Oh, there's also a drone flying back behind the field.
It is 4th and goal inside the 1.
See if we can get a shot of that drone. It's hanging right behind the play. But quarterback keeper again. And it's going to be a turnover on downs, and talk about a back breaker. There's the shot of the drone on the field. One of the nice things about this league, well, I'm not sure. I know MSHSL, Minnesota State High School League, forbids drones during gameplay. But Now that drone is giving me some ideas for future Minnesota Minx broadcasts. Maybe we could get a little Skycam drone action going for either the scrimmage or hoping for next season as well. Obviously, too, got to do my little bit of a spiel, but to help keep Minnesota Minx broadcasts on the air, consider going to savecommunitytv.org. Funding for PEG stations like us are continuing to decline because of cuts in cable subscriptions, them switching to streaming. So it's getting a little bit tough for PEG stations like us to keep doing these games and getting them on the air. So contact Minnesota legislators to help support community TV. Let them know you want to help get a funding solution through. Or if you want to help HCTV directly get these games back on the air and help fix our TriCaster, consider leaving a donation at hastingstv.org/donate. We want to keep these games free and available, and I want to keep broadcasting these as long as we can, help support women's football, but we need some help to make that happen. As under center is Harper. Oh, are we going to get a safety? Oh, it's going to be second down, not quite a safety. It's getting close there.
Ball carrier number 3,
Chris Harper tried to get out of the back of the end zone on that quarterback dive, but boy, that football can't get much closer to the end zone. That is extremely close. Kind of see it. It's about an inch or two away from that line. So they're really going to need to work for some space here. Back at the line, under center. This time it's wide receiver Freely trying to get some space. This time gets a little bit of a push to create some space and will gain about a yard or two.
Direct snap to Detroit's number 19, Paisley Fraley, stopped by a host of Minnesota players.
Fraley couldn't get much on it.
No gain on the play. It is
officially no game. I thought she got a yard or two on that, but no dice. And 6:25 to go here in the fourth quarter on this gorgeous Saturday afternoon. Weather's been near perfect here at Spring Lake Park High School. So here we go. Harper back out of the gun, gonna have to get a pass off quick. That Minx defensive line is coming. Has some time, back of the end zone, has a receiver, and diving catch made by number 9, Jasmine Gray. And that's the first big completion we've seen of the game, and the chains are moving.
From number 3, Jasmine Gray is caught by, Chris Harper is caught by number 9, Jasmine Gray. Tackled by Minnesota's number 20, Josetta Casper.
Again, that was a fantastic pass from the quarterback, number 3, Harper. So that will be a first down. Again, first real big pass play over the middle that we've seen completed. Again, 5 minutes left, only a 3-point game, plenty of time for the Prowl to get a score here. Minnesota not being able to capitalize with 4th and an inch. Has left the doors wide open for the Prowl, and we're gonna get another timeout here.
Timeout, Minnesota. This is their second timeout.
It'll be a timeout for Minnesota. So that was actually Minnesota's second timeout. Apologize, missed that one earlier. Get the scoreboard not taking the timeouts down, which is a-okay, but it just makes us rely on the HCTV stat department, which is myself. So unfortunately, they missed that one, but play will resume here momentarily. Both teams down to one timeout. Confirmed with Mike Peden and crew. So normally we have a little box that pulls all that data for us, but again, with the tech issues, we adjust on the fly.
Let's go, Minx! Defense!
Harper looks the snap, has a receiver out in the flat. There we go. Big hit! Boom goes the dynamite. As, again, Karshbaum in there. She's made some big hits all night.
Is caught by number 19, Paisley Fraley, who's tackled by Minnesota's number 27, Robert Karshbaum. Gain of 2 on the play, the 2nd and 8 at the 13.
So second down here, gain of about 2 on the last play. One back in the backfield. Harper looking to pass. Has some time. 2-step drop, and that was almost picked off, and we got some laundry out on the field. And an injury down on the field as well. So we'll see what the flag is. As you can see, the injured player down on the field. I think that's 93, Asia Thomas. We'll see what the flag is here. Well, they're going to call pass interference on the defense. I didn't see it initially, but there could have been some contact. As you can see, the injured player, Thomas, to the right of your screen, and injuries just starting to ramp up for the Prowl. And again, right now their bench is looking like 4-5 players, as number 93 getting their lower leg worked on. You can kind of see in that lower right half of your shot. You know, at some point you gotta be careful of injuries and just take care of your players. But with 3:43 left to go, it's a 3-0 game. You're in this thing. Your team wants to win it. It's a tough balance, right? It's been kind of felt like a long game for both squads on the offense, but you're still in this touchdown, and there's a good chance you take this one away. Both teams, it's going to come down to which team has the long, sustained drive first. And we haven't seen a long, sustained drive from either squad today. I mean, that last drive from Minnesota was a sustained drive, but just not as long as you'd like it to be. But really, it's going to come down to that. As Asia Thomas continues to get looked at. And they seem to be getting up, which is always what you love to see. So Thomas walking gingerly off, needing a lot of support. So that's obviously, you never want to speculate too much, but we just hope she is a-okay. 3-0's our score here with 3:43 left to go in the contest.
Following the penalty, it is 1st and 10 at the 23-yard line.
Let's go, D!
3:43 to go here after the injury to Thomas. Prowl are on the move. Harper will hand it off to Freely and tries to go up the middle with the run, but an excellent stop defensively by the Minx. Again, run game has not been on the side of really either squad. We saw some movement with a couple of quarterback keepers with J.C. Otterson. Otherwise, the run game's come kind of at a premium.
Let's go, Minx!
So 2:50 to go in the game. It's crunch time, folks. Thanks for staying around. Fakes the quarterback keeper. This time Freely finds some space, and that's going to be coming back. Lots of laundry on that one. And again, the times we've seen big runs, we see laundry, you know. In a lot of ways, too, tonight has been a mirror match. Both teams struggling offensively. Yep, and there's the hold. So going back 10 yards, a dagger for Detroit. Still plenty of time to work. Down to one timeout, though, with 2:43 to go. There is a 2-minute warning, so we will have a brief pause for that. But again, just that's kind of been the story, unfortunately. Just you get some momentum, shoot yourself in the foot.
Following the penalty,
You know, it's kind of been that for both teams this year, and things just that's just got to be one of the things of the game you got to keep working on to improve. And I think both of these teams can do that because, like I said, both these teams have very strong defenses, and that's something to build off of. It's just the offensive side, and I'm definitely repeating this a lot, but
Let's go, D!
it's a totally different ball game when you can put points on the board. And right now, special teams is the only one getting it done today. As handoff looking to get outside, and a big tackle. No shortage of defensive plays, and the defensive MVP probably has been Mallory Breakmeyer today. Breakmeyer has been fantastic on that defensive line.
65, Mallory Breakmeyer.
Again, there's been a few names. Karshbaum's been excellent. Breakmeyer's been excellent. And we've hit the 2-minute warning. But again, thanks again for supporting HCTV. Thanks again for supporting Minnesota Minx football. Thanks for supporting women's football in general. That's obviously, I've been in the sports director role here at HCTV for 6 years now. And I'll give you a little backstory on how it all began. Just got some time to fill at the stoppage. It's a very interesting tale. I talked about the Minnesota Vixen a little bit, but Minnesota Minx were formed as kind of a partner squad for them initially, and they've kind of built into their own. I've worked a lot of Minnesota Vixen games over the years with Town Square Television and other stations in Minnesota. So I've been with them for almost 7 years filming their games. Last year was the first year I didn't do any, and this year as well. They had to move to a different direction, but I've always been around the game of women's football. So when the Minnesota Minx were formed 5-ish seasons ago,
that was something I knew I wanted to get in on right away as sports director at HCTV. Help support the game and grow women's football. Get it more spotlight coverage. Just throwing out the flat gets about a yard maybe to the line of scrimmage. No gain. As we're under about a minute 45. As number 37 in on the tackle, Maria Bradbury. So I've been around the game of women's football for about 7-ish years, and it's always been a lot of fun being able to help support and grow the game, and it's frankly been a lot of fun too, and especially seeing the Minx grow, seeing some of these teams grow too that we've seen. Like Cedar Raptors, remember when they came into the league, Iowa Phoenix, Midwest Mountain Lions were a new team alongside Minnesota. Seeing these teams grow and take a shape of their own as well has been a lot of fun to see, and hope to continue that prowess, and I hope we get to see Detroit again next year. Obviously, it might be on the road next season, but would love to have you Detroit fans as well back for the Rise. That gets past Hurd on the 4th down punt. Under a minute to go. Here goes Hurd. Hurd looking for some space, cuts inside, flag on the field. Yeah, it's going to be a block in the back or maybe a hold, so that should bring them back. But again, want to thank you all for supporting HCTV and Minnesota Minx football. Again, would love to be back here next time around or for the scrimmage. But just if you want to help keep these games on the air, help support Community TV in Minnesota. As we await the call. And that's going to be a block in the back. And that'll push them back. A good chunky yardage as we're at 43 seconds to go. Man, I imagine Minnesota not too keen on getting too cute offensively here with the game in hand. One timeout. One timeout, Detroit can stop the clock, but wouldn't do them a lot of good here in this scenario. With 43 seconds left to go. Again, tough, scrappy game. Again, defense has shined here today. I want to thank all the support staff, the photographers, social media team, the board for the Minx for getting us on. Obviously, we might have one more with the scrimmage, but we'll keep everyone posted. But thanks for Claire for having us. Mike to my right doing PA. Scoreboard operator, never got his name, unfortunately. Thanks for him for being here and helping grow the game of women's football.
What was the penalty?
And thank you to all the fans for tuning in to tonight's broadcast. If you guys weren't tuning in, we wouldn't really have much to broadcast. So thanks for supporting us once again. And we'll be in touch on that scrimmage as Otterson back out of that split back set. 2 backs in the backfield, couple of receivers out wide. Hahn, one of them. Look at the pass. Nope, gonna take that knee. Waste extra clock. So J.C. Otterson takes that knee. And they should be able to lock the crowd, or lock this game in as the crowd's getting excited for their first victory of the season. As you'll get a good look at the crowd. Lots of Minx jerseys in attendance, and to see the fan base grow and really become into a league of their own. I know I kind of talked about it being formed as like a partnership team, but really Minnesota, the Minx are really starting to become a team of their own, and watching that grow has been something really special. As the crowd is loving it, the clock has hit 0, and that is our final score. Crowd on your screen, as you can see, youngsters in the crowd as well as we line up for final handshakes and get ready to say our goodbyes. But again, once again, thank you for another regular season of Minnesota Minx football. Just in case we can't do that scrimmage, if we can, we'll update everyone on that social media and the whatnot. But we got a defensive showdown here today. Both teams played electric on defense all day. Both teams struggled moving the ball, and in the end, it really came down to special teams. Keeper Hopkins field goal would do it. So again, thank you so much for joining us here today. There is going to be an after party too. We'll have to get some info from PA announcer, but before we say our goodbye, one last time from Spring Lake Park High School, we'll get you an update on our socials for the next venue. Let me get our credits pulled up here. So, can't get the graphic working, but one more time, I'm Hunter Pinky, your announcer, director, switching, graphics, and then we had the camera operators, Ian Andersack, Max Locum, and obviously good sportsmanship right there, going to see the injured player, support each other, and that's what I've really come to love about the Minnesota Minx, this league, these teams. They are all such great sportsmanship. Show such great sportsmanship because they're all doing it for fun. They're all doing it to get on the field and play some meaningful football and just play a sport, you know, that's historically been dominated, you know, as a men's thing. But it's great to see these leagues join on their own as you get a good look as they thank the fans for one last time. So once again, I'm Hunter Pinky alongside Max Locum, Ian Andersack, Mike Peden on the PA. Thanks for joining us again for another regular season of Minnesota Minx football. We'll be in touch on that scrimmage. Final score 3-0. Minnesota Minx win on a Keeper Hopkins field goal back in the third. We will see you next time, and we'll keep you updated on our equipment snafus. Have a good night, everyone, and we'll see you next time.